Hey, I'm here to tell you a story. Come to think of it, that's all that I've been doing for quite some time, and people are inquisitive. And I think in this whole process of telling so many stories, I've got some kind of a respect in the society which I didn't have before. Because I belong to a different segment of the society where people didn't particularly look at you with respect, you see. Maybe they looked at you with love. So the story is of somebody who is so very much like me, in the sense people didn't like him. They didn't want to be associated with him. And when wounded, was left behind, just like I had been. Anyways, so the story goes like this. One beautiful evening, when the sun was just setting in and the sky was a splash of brilliant colors, every bright color that you can imagine, hues of orange and yellow and green and blue and purple and pink. Against the spectacular sky sat a very handsome man, Jesus of Nazareth. And there was this big crowd of people who surrounded him, and he was talking to them. When a man runs in and asks Jesus, "Jesus, how am I going to attain eternal life?" Quite a loaded question. And Jesus asks him, "Do you know the commandments?" And he says, "Yes. Love God with all your body and all your might." Jesus smiles at him and says, "And what's the next one?" To which he says, "Love your neighbors just like you love yourself." And Jesus says, "There you go." But the man wants to test Jesus, so he asks him another question. "So Jesus, how would I know who is my neighbor?" To which Jesus tells this story. Once upon a time, there was this trader who was crossing one village and going to the other one. On the way, he meets some bandits who kick him and punch him and really hurt him badly and rob him and vanish. Now this man lies on the floor, bruised, bleeding, wounded, groaning in agony, when a priest walks by. And when the priest looks at him, he pretends he's seen nothing and he runs away. Then comes a Levite. And when the Levite comes close, he can hear the man's groans. But he pretends not to hear anything. He rushes by too, not wanting to do anything with this rubble of pain and misery. And then comes a Samaritan. And when this man who was asking Jesus is listening to this question, he's thinking in his head, okay, the priest didn't help him, the Levite didn't help him, Samaritan is not going to help him, definitely. Samaritans were people who were low of caste, whom people didn't like to mingle with, whom people kept at a hand's distance. So when the Samaritan comes close and he looks at this man and he hears his groans, the groans get into his heart, they pierce his heart, and the sight of his bloody body fills him with compassion. He runs to this man, he cleans his wounds, he bandages him with wine. He picks him up, puts him on his donkey, and carries him to the nearest inn. He talks to the innkeeper, gives him money, and tells him to take care of this man till he's healed, and walks away. And now Jesus asks this man, "So, who was the real neighbor of this man?" The man says, "Samaritan." There you go. Isn't it easy, my dear friends, to understand who's your friend and who's not? Who's the good Samaritan and who's not? So easy. Just look at their deeds. It's an amazing story that makes me reflect often on how my life had been. Mm, I was also this person who was looked down upon, shamed. Once I even came close to be stoned. Had it not been for this man called Jesus, I would have been dead. Now that's another story, which I would definitely like to tell you someday.